Hello and welcome to Lost Art. I'm Gar.
And I'm Paul.
And this week we are going to be doing side projects.
Yes.
Now, I don't think these aren't going to be the best side projects. These are just some interesting ones, I think.
And the qualifiers again for this have to be that they're not super groups, because that's a separate podcast.
That's a different one altogether.
So if there's people like in bands with two famous members or three, they're going to go on a separate one. This is, and they're not solo projects either. Well, not solo projects.
No, these are pretty
solo
much
projects.
bands.
Yeah. Bands that maybe didn't have any one famous member.
Yeah.
It'd be considered his or her.
I think you might be allowed two. I don't think any might have two, but I think you might be allowed two, just because it's still not in supergroup territory.
Yeah, exactly.
I think supergroup, if a regular band is, say, a 4-piece, let's say, give or take, you've got 3s and 5s and
like Audio Slave is not going to come up in the side project thing.
Yeah, that's a supergroup, 100%. Sure. So we'll just get this ball rolling. What's your first one?
My first one is Grinderman, Nick Cave's band with other members of the Bad Seeds, so it's not really a supergroup.
I thought the same about. I was looking at Bad Seed stuff as well, because there's just Nick Cave albums and there's Nick Cave and Bad Seeds.
Then there's the Birthday Party.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, because I thought about Bad Seeds, and then there's been too many. I think once the guy's name precedes the band.
I think it is. I think it was his idea, and he wrote a lot of stuff and he gave it to the band. So it's Nick Cave's solo project. No, it's not solo project. Sorry, side project. Yeah, Grinderman. The song is No Pussy Blues, which is a fun song.
Yeah.
Listen to it now, it sounds like something Incel would sing. But I've not been able to get the sex.
To sex.
But it is a fun song. The lyrics, I think he wrote a lot of the lyrics sort of just on the spot with this thing. I think it was very loose, the whole Grinderman thing. I thought Grinderman was out a lot earlier than this. It's actually 2007.
Yeah, it's later. Yeah.
Jesus, yeah. I don't know why. I thought I remember listening to it around 2010 and thinking it would have been from like 1999 or 2000 or something.
No. I remember when Grinderman came out, there was a big hullabaloo. I remember there being a big, strangely unrelated yet related fact that I believe there's a guy in Grinderman called Warren Ellis.
Yes, he's the Seeds as well.
Yeah. And he there's also one of the most famous comic book writers in the world. His name is Warren Ellis as well.
Really?
So there was people sending on both fronts. There was people sending Warren Ellis from Grinderman messages about working on comic book projects, and people sending Warren Ellis, the comic book writer.
Right.
You know, congratulations! Like, you wrote Transmetropolitan, and now you're in a band with Nick Cave. That's fucking super. Strangely enough, they do not look a million miles away from each other.
Really? That doesn't help.
Yeah.
If you look on Twitter or one of the bios, you're like, that's him. Yeah.
Both kind of balding, hairy fellas. Kind of that type of situation going on.
Yeah.
I like Grinderman. I don't know loads of their stuff. They're one of those bands that have always been on the kind of periphery for me.
I didn't listen to much of the second album, but the one thing I do like about them is because they were using member of the Bad Seeds, when they just went back to do Bad Seeds, there was no bad blood. I don't think anybody lost out.
It's their project to do really noisy stuff. Really.
Exactly. It's like if you're writing a lot of songs, you know yourself, when you're in a band, you write loads of songs and stuff goes, that's great, but it doesn't fit into this at all. So you put it on the side. Yeah. So I reckon they just maybe collected enough of them to go, well, it's a grungier, alt-rocky kind of I don't know what it is, garagey kind of rock.
I don't know what it is. It's got this kind of noise influence where it's they do these weird kind of loopy riffs that are like heavily distorted.
Yeah, there's a lot of looping in it because he wrote. He's not a guitar player.
No,
so he wrote the basis of the songs on a guitar.
Yeah,
and gave it to them, and they went like I loved doing that when I was in bands, and I wasn't particularly good at any instrument. Still haven't. But I go, listen, can you see the idea of this? Make this sound like a real person is playing it with extra notes in it. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
like Jello Biafra type of thing. Just hold it to a dictaphone and hand it off to a guitarist.
Yeah, or Michael Jackson did that. Mike Patton did that.
Yeah,
they all did that.
Green Hill Zone. Exactly, Green Hill Zone.
Right, so that's my first one. I like that Grinderman album. It's very good. Second one I haven't.
I think Grinderman, the name is fucking super.
It's brilliant.
I think it's a great name.
It's a great name.
I don't know why.
And the album cover is that like kind of the monkey on the front. It's a bit scary.
Organ grinder.
Yeah,
makes perfect sense.
What's your first side project?
My first side project is a band called Avoid One Thing, and they were a side project of a guy called Joe Gittleman, who was the bass player from the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
I don't like them.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Boss Tones fan. They're fine. They have an album called Devil's Night Out that's not quite as ska-ish as the rest. It's a little bit more kind of
I did listen to this song. I like it. It's a very nice song.
It's a very lovely.
It's a lovely little song, isn't it?
And this song
sound patronising.
Yeah, exactly. Strangely enough, this song got famous, even though it was released by Avoid One Thing on their debut album, which was 2002.
Right.
It got famous because another kind of punk band called the Bouncing Souls, who would be like one of these kind of huge American, not pop punk.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call them. They're just one of these generic fucking American singy punk bands. And they're actually a very good band. I've seen them a few times. They're fun. And they covered this song. And they put it on one of their big albums. They have an album called Gold. And they covered it in 2006. So they covered it 4 years later. And it got so big. Like, to the point where it was probably their most famous song.
Right.
And it must have been a massive kick in the bollocks because it was a cover.
Yeah, well, that used to happen years ago. Do you remember? Remember, covers used to be of a song that was only a few months later. We're talking in the blues, especially, and stuff like that. It'd be ripped, and anytime with the Beatles and stuff like that, they like around that era.
You go back to Beach Boys. Like a lot of these guys, their first couple of singles were
the record label. Like, that's a great song. We can't market this band. Give it to them. Let them.
Of course, just open, try like torrenting fucking songs.
Yeah,
like, you know, it's crazy. Just sheet music, sending it around. But yeah. Avoid One Thing. I think they're a Boston-based band. Boston's are obviously huge in their field.
Yeah,
the Boston's never, like I said, they're not a big thing to me.
They play a lot of fields.
They do play a lot. Yeah, they actually do a thing called the Hometown Showdown once a year because they don't play too many gigs anymore. So they do. I think they do one big, like I'm talking big. I think it's in like Fenway Park or something.
Yeah,
like that. One of
these
like giant places, and it's like an all day kind of festival, like a mini Vans Warped Tour. But yeah, Joe Gittleman's still with them. Avoid One Thing. I think they put out 2 albums and then they just kind of went on hiatus. They put out 2 albums in 3 years and just kind of knocked it on the head.
I suppose if you're mad into a band like that and they only do one gig in their own thing, if you really want to, you'll go over and see it. Yeah.
I think that Hometown Showdown by Bosstones is one of those. People will save up for a year or two to go.
Yeah.
But like it's a very particular type of person that's going to save up for a year to go and see all these kind of ska-core bands.
Yeah, I have a name for those people, but we'll...
Yeah. Again, not my bag, but that song is the one that jumped when we discussed this theme. That was the song that instantly went to my mind because I've liked it forever and I didn't know it was by a band called Avoid One Thing. I thought it was a Bouncing Soul song.
Yeah.
And it was only when I kind of randomly came across it. I think somebody on MySpace or something told me years ago, check out this band, Avoid One Thing. And there was no Spotify back then. I had to find it on YouTube. Somebody had like ripped a cassette tape. You couldn't buy it. Still to this day, you couldn't buy the album if you wanted.
Right, yeah.
You're not going to find it, you know. Anyway, that was my one. What's your next one?
My next one is a band called Neon, which is the side project of... How do you pronounce his name? Gruff Rice from Super Furry Animals? Gruff Reese? It's Welsh. Welsh, so it's probably Reese.
Yeah. I think it's Reese.
Yeah.
Is it Gruff or Griff?
Gruff. I like Super Furry Animals, but there's something about this album I really, really like. It's from an album called Stainless Style, and it's a concept album about the John DeLorean, the maker of the DeLorean car.
All right.
Who obviously, the car from Back to the Future.
Yeah, that was built in Belfast.
Yeah, so the song is Belfast.
Yeah. Oh, right, okay.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Lead in nicely. Yeah, the album is bananas, I think. It's kind of like, what kind of style is it? Electro pop.
Yeah.
Bit of hip hop in it as well. There's a good bit of hip hop. Loads of sort of contributors like Harmar Superstar. Did you ever listen to him?
Interesting. When it first came out, there was a couple of bits and pieces I liked.
He looks like Ron Jeremy, but he sings disco songs about riding. So he's, again, not, I mean, I suppose he's the audio version of...
Yeah.
I mean, that's how much you wouldn't want to have an audio version of Ron Jeremy at all.
I don't think so.
You're muting that porn every time, aren't you, really?
Yeah.
You're not watching the porn with him,
Yeah, you look away when he's on.
Not from the 70s. 80s?
I don't know. Can you still get 70s porn? I'm sure you can.
I hope so. This came out in 2008, and yeah, like I was saying, it's a song about Belfast where I think the DeLorean kind of died because they couldn't. I don't really know much about the car, but I know that the production was terrible and they were awful cars.
I know a little bit about the production. Strangely enough, yeah.
Go on.
What they made it out of, I think it was made out of
stainless steel.
Parts of it were stainless steel.
Yeah, hence Stainless Style, the name of the album.
Yeah, parts of it were stainless steel, and parts of it were aluminium, and parts of it were iron, and it rusted like.
I was going to say that in about 4 or 5 years, that's not going to look all the same.
It rusted like a bastard. It was a guy's kind of vanity project. And it was basically, I think that company had closed and all by the time Back to the Future launched.
Oh, I'd imagine. Well,
And, I think they were closed a year or so. It wasn't that long before.
Yeah, because they're starting around 78.
Yeah.
And, so you're probably right.
But they didn't last long. What I do know is I know the original cast mould for the frame of the car is currently used to hold down lobster nets in Donegal.
That's crazy.
The factory was stripped. Someone bought literally the cast iron mould for that the machines used to crimp the aluminium and stainless steel into.
So I wonder every time they pull up a lot of lobsters, they go din.
But it's used to hold down lobster nets and buoys in Donegal Bay, I think.
Yeah. This song Belfast is a lovely song. It's not one of the most popular songs off that album. I think the song with Harmar is on it, and the song called I'll tell you on Alder and stuff.
Most popular songs, so there's no point.
No,
just giving
this one is.
Examples,
it's also one of the better stories from the album. The whole thing isn't tied down too closely to John DeLorean, but this is a synth poppy kind of song, and it starts very synth poppy, and his voice suits synth pop so well.
Is it leaning into that kind of synth wavy 80s neon?
Yes, very much.
Yeah, it's got
that
feel about it.
Yeah, it is.
And
this was years before it all started to kick off.
Fucking.
So this is 2008, and synthwave really only started to kick off, I'd say, around 2011, 12, 13, 13 especially when Perturbator and stuff like that was really kicking out the good stuff. You need a good artist to kick off a genre. So there's a lot of bits and pieces like that.
Musically and artistically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's no synthwave without those fucking covers. And
yes, exactly.
They're cool imagery.
Exactly, and the imagery and the movies. Yeah, synthwave is based on movies and this. Yeah. So in a way, the visuals of the
would he be a
DeLorean
forerunner then in this kind of genre, you reckon?
Not at all.
No.
Gruff.
In this kind of synthwavey thing.
No, this album would have been forgotten about by the time that stuff came out. This is quite a small album. Great reviews for it though. I remember when it came out, it is a great album. It's solid. It's a bit all over the gaff, like side projects can be. What's your next one?
My next one is Body Count, of all things.
Yeah, that is a good side project.
Yeah, Body Count is interesting because I think there's two bands that got kind of 90s metalers to listen to other genres. And I think one was Body Count and one was The Prodigy.
Absolutely.
I think Music for the Jilted Generation changed the way metalheads looked at other music.
Yeah.
And I think that first Body Count album made a lot of metalheads listen to hip-hop music.
It did, definitely.
And Body Count he's not really rapping in it.
You're right. Yeah, no, you're right. He's singing like he's shouting, and it works for the music.
Perfect. Now, the whole concept behind Body Count is interesting. His mate since he was a kid, a guy called Ernie C, who's still the guitarist. Actually, out of the 6 original members of Body Count, only 3 are still alive. Ice-T, Ernie C, and I can't remember who the fuck else. It's not Moose. I think Moose.
I saw them live last year, and it was incredible.
Yeah, the new band are shit hot. The guys he has
Ernie is still in.
Ernie's still there.
Yeah, he's there.
Ernie does fuck all because he's not great.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He can do like a big shreddy solo, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But Ernie C apparently, they were running around gangbanging and fucking robbing jewellery shops and stealing cars and getting into trouble. Ernie C was always dragging around this guitar behind him.
Yeah,
and he was mad into metal and rock. Well, the lads were all into fucking hip hop and stuff like that. Even when they were young fellas, like kind of proto hip hop and disco and stuff.
Yeah.
And Ernie was always dragging his guitar around. And Ice-T will be one of the first kind of gangster, the first gangster rapper to make it big. There was guys before him, but he'd be the first one to break out.
I was listening to Body Count long before I was listening to Ice-T.
Yeah.
I never was mad into Ice-T. But I can imagine if I was a bit older, years ago, hearing that Ice-T was starting a metal band, I would have been like, that's the shit, don't.
I was lucky.
The product is.
Yeah, I was lucky that Ice-T is my favourite rapper of all time.
Really?
Favourite, yeah, by far. My favourite hip hop artist of all time. The body of work.
He's very clear.
Outrageous.
He's very clear. You can always hear what he's saying.
Yeah, he just has a particular style that works really well. But I was listening to Ice-T around about the same time.
Right.
That came out. And I think it was a Home Invasion or OG had a Body Count track on it as well. I can't remember. I think it was OG. They had Body Counts in the House on there, and that's a purely hip hop album.
Yeah.
That's a double album. And I had it was like a press interviewer. So I think that came out. OG might have came out maybe a year before Ice-T, or maybe like early 1990, and then Body Count came out kind of mid to late 1990. And that album OG had the introduction to Body Count, and people have kind of been talking about that Ice-T has this fucking metal band, but the reason he started the metal band was because his mate NEC just wanted to play guitar. He was into hip-hop, but he was more into rock and metal.
Yeah.
And it was through him that Ice-T started getting interested in like Slayer and Morbid Angel and fucking Cannibal Corpse, Napalm Death.
You can hear the influences.
All that,
It's not just rock, it's metal.
It's
Body Count is a metal band.
Cannibal Corpse are one of his